Hey guys,
Hello.
it's Jamie and Christine with Iowa Diabetes. We had a slight delay in this presentation.
We did, which is kind of ironic, don't you think?
Yes, it is. It's extremely ironic with the name of our presentation. But today is getting through the cold season without a hitch.
Yeah, and last week I had a little hitch.
You did. We had a big hitch.
I had a big hitch. I was not feeling well.
So we delayed this by a week so that we could now give you straight from many sources tips and tricks on how to get through this season feeling your greatest. Because nobody has time to feel sick. Nobody has time to be down, and everybody wants to use this time to go apple picking, pumpkin picking. Right. So that is my question to you guys. What do you want to be doing so that you're not laying in bed sick? So Christine, what would you have rather been doing?
Oh my gosh, anything. But my kids and I did go to the pumpkin patch yesterday, feeling better now. So it was fantastic. We had a great time.
Yeah. Let us know what you guys would be rather doing rather than laying in bed sick. Personally, I mean, the cold and flu season, it starts in October, it goes until March. I would rather be spending my time with family during the holidays. I don't want to be sick. I want to be spending that valuable time. So that's what I'm wanting to do. So today we're going to be going through what are some different medicines that you can take. We'll do medicines and supplements on some of the things that we've researched and some of the things that we've used to help us feel better. And then what can you do to prevent yourself from even getting sick? So we're going to cover those 2 points today. Before we get to that, just want to remind you why it's so important. 1, we don't want to be laying in bed.
Right.
2, especially for those patients with chronic diseases like diabetes, getting sick, like an influenza type sickness, you're higher risk for complications. A lot of times, type 2 diabetes, type 1 diabetes, your immune system is not as healthy, not as robust. And so that puts you at risk to get even sicker than what maybe somebody with a normal immune system has.
Like those secondary infections like pneumonia, which nobody wants, right?
And so we absolutely want to keep you out of the hospital, keep you safe during this fun time period.
Definitely.
So Christine, you work urgent care sometimes.
I do.
What are some things that you recommend to those patients you see?
Well, first off, when I see someone in urgent care, they're wondering like, well, what do I need to be here? Like, what testing do I need to do? So some of the testing we're doing is, your influenza, your COVID. But if you have influenza and you're doing okay, yes, there's the option of doing like a Tamiflu, which is an antiviral that can delay or that can make your symptoms shorter by about a day. But unfortunately, those antivirals can kind of make you feel crummy too. So you gotta weigh the pros and cons with that. And then it depends on symptoms, right? If you're having fever and body aches, then you have your Tylenol or your ibuprofen. If you're really congested in the nose and just feeling miserable, I'm a huge fan of the neti pot. Because I think that does really help flush everything out of there. It helps to open things up. If I see patients that are really swollen in the sinuses, a Flonase, which is a steroid nasal spray, I'll have them do the neti pot and then do that Flonase to kind of help shrink those turbinates, help make that, sinuses a little bit less inflamed.
And a medicine that we can use along with that is going to be like a Sudafed. Pseudoephedrine is our generic name for it. I like the neti pot and the Flonase too because you're local. Versus the Sudafed is something that you take orally. And so it's affecting your body head to toe. So you can get some side effects with that.
And you can use an Afrin, which is kind of like a nasal version of your Sudafed. But you got to be careful with those because one, if you have high blood pressure, Sudafed can actually cause some vasoconstriction and that can affect your blood pressure. So doing it just through the nose helps to prevent that. But also, if you use Sudafed for too many days in a row, you get what's called rebound congestion. And so if you're using it from over 3 days, when you stop taking it, you can get a rush of those blood vessels back to that nose, and that can cause those symptoms to get even worse. So you got to be careful with how long you're using the medications for.
Absolutely. And as a pharmacist, I'm looking for single ingredient medicines to use when you have those symptoms. So if you have a fever, I'm saying just get the pain or the fever reliever. If you have congestion, only get that. Don't get those medicines that have 3 or 4 ingredients in it, because you may not need all 3 ingredients. Then you just have chemicals or additional medicine in your body that you don't need.
Right. And you can take more than one individual medication at a time. You can take a
Absolutely.
Sudafed and a Tylenol. That's perfectly fine.
You just buy the single ingredient Sudafed. You buy the single ingredient Tylenol. And if you have the fever, you take that Tylenol. If you don't have that, then you're not taking Tylenol when you just want that decongestant.
Right. Plenty of fluids.
Oh, yeah. Fluids are important.
So hydrating, rest.
Yeah. And then making sure you're continuing to take your medicines for all of your disease states, even if you are sick.
Right.
Because even with diabetes, your sugars can go up just from that sickness. So even if you're not eating as much,
right,
your sugars can even go even higher. And that's your sick response. What are some things that we can maybe, not medicines, but maybe more considered supplements? For me, vitamin C. My house, I have huge bottles of vitamin C. And at the moment a kid starts to get sick, I think we give the entire family vitamin C just so that we're boosting our immune system.
Now, is there a certain dose with that you recommend?
Yeah, I'm doing at least 500 milligrams on that. Sometimes we'll go up to 1,000 if I really am feeling bad. But I'll do sometimes those emergency packets. But honestly, we just do gummies.
No, but there is a caveat with that with a CGM.
There
is. Vitamin C.
So if you're on a Freestyle Libre CGM, do not take more than 500 milligrams of vitamin C. That can actually make your sugars look falsely high. So what that would mean is you could possibly have a low and the CGM is not detecting it. It's a warning that every time you put on a new one of those sensors for Freestyle Libre, it's you're getting that warning. So this is just a reminder. If you're a Libre user, skip the vitamin C.
Now, I'm big on prevention. Lots of hand washing. When my kids leave school, I'm wiping them down before they get in the car, hand washing before you eat. I do a lot of traveling with my kids. I have family in different places across the country. So when I get on an airplane, I am like sanitizing like everything.
I can see you doing that.
I know. And it might seem crazy, but it only took one time of my son getting a GI bug on an airplane on our trip that I go, I am never doing this again. So, and honestly, ever since we've done that, we have never had issues on an airplane. Knock on wood. So, sanitizing your area, making sure you're cleaning your hands before and after you get off the plane.
Yeah. And I would say if you're starting to have symptoms, mask up. So if you are the one having symptoms, that's what the mask is for. So if you're going to go to the doctor's office and maybe get checked out, make sure you're wearing a mask there. If you're like, I really need to go to the grocery store to buy the medicines, just help prevent your symptoms from spreading by wearing that mask. I think that's a huge way to help prevent, maybe not your sickness, but your neighbors. And who knows what your neighbor has going on. Other preventions, the flu shot. So flu shot, extremely important. I know in the pharmacies, they have them stocked. Your doctor's offices are starting to have them stocked as well. So that flu shot will help prevent the flu. And if you get the flu, we were just talking about this before. If you get the flu, it'll help prevent your symptoms from becoming really severe. So those are the benefits of it. So it's not going to prevent every case of the flu, but it's going to help keep your symptoms really mild so that, again, you're not ending up in the hospital.
Exactly. Yeah. Research has shown that it does prevent extreme complications from the flu. And that's what you would worry about, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So questions I get as a pharmacist, can the flu shot give you the flu?
The flu shot cannot give you the flu.
Why?
It is a little antigen. It's actually not the full virus. And so when it goes into your body recognizes that antigen and then it starts making antibodies to it. Now, sometimes it can make you feel worn down because of the fact that your body's immune system is ramping up. So that can make you feel a little fatigued, sometimes a headache, sometimes a little bit of a body aches for a day or so.
Yeah.
But that is because your immune system is working because it's identifying something that it sees as foreign. And that's what we want it to do. We want it to build those antibodies so that if you get exposed to the flu, your system is already mounted and ready to go.
Right. And so it's not a live virus.
It is not.
It's a piece of a dead virus that you are getting injected
Exactly.
into you. And so that's the important thing. Now, it makes you feel run down. It makes you feel that way. It also takes 2 weeks to get full effect on your immune system. So you feel kind of crappy a day or two afterwards. But even after you start to feel better from your immune system ramping up, it takes an additional about 10 days to get full effect.
Right.
Now, if you get exposed to the flu in that period of time, that flu shot may not be 100% effective. Or if you got exposed right before, it's not going to be 100% effective. So those are the other things that I like to talk about with patients as I'm maybe giving that shot.
Which is why around this time is when you really want to start considering getting the flu shot before it hits its peak here in Iowa.
And so October, early November, great time periods to get that. The CDC has a campaign going on right now. And so you'll see these signs all over. I have them, but I'm not going to bring it up. But I liked it because they said wash up, mask up, and sleeve up. So the 3 things that we just covered, wash your hands, wear a mask, and get the flu shot if you're able to. Now, I do have some concerns. There's a lot of precautions with flu shots, especially in those that are maybe allergic to eggs. But there are options of flu shots available that don't have eggs in them. You just may have to call around to doctors' offices and pharmacies to find ones that are available. And they can read the label and see which ones they have available. It just takes a little bit of extra work. Now, Christine, there's a supplement that you are a big fan of, right? You said you went berry picking.
So elderberry, I'm a big fan of just what nature can provide. The kids and I like to go pick berries and find what fruits you can pick and find in the forest and mushroom picking. And so I'm kind of a little bit of like a nerd when it comes to that.
I like it.
So last season, when the elderberries were ripe, I went elderberry hunting with the best intentions of making my own elderberry syrup.
Okay.
They are still in my freezer, but I can still at some point make my elderberry syrup. But
now, when is elderberry season?
It's actually like around this time.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit earlier.
Okay.
They're after the mulberries.
Okay.
So I know that much.
Okay. Not one of the things that is a piece of knowledge in my brain.
A little earlier than that, but yes.
So elderberries.
And you don't want to eat them though.
Nope. Syrup.
Yes, you have to, because they're poisonous if you just eat them. So don't go and eating a bunch of elderberries. They actually have to be made in a way that it's okay for humans to ingest.
So you can buy this in a supplement, or you can make this fancy syrup that Christina is going to tell us at a future date how it goes. But if you do, that is one of the supplements that like vitamin C, if you take it, it's going to help prevent your symptoms from getting worse and maybe get relief from them earlier.
Yeah, shorten the course, make the symptoms less severe. And of course, we all want that. Sometimes you can't avoid, it might get the flu.
Yeah.
But if we can prevent from feeling as crummy when we get the flu, and I actually think elderberry syrup tastes kind of good.
I've never had it.
There's gummies too that I give my kids.
Okay.
Another thing that I do with myself and my kids, just for prevention of all sorts of illnesses, is a probiotic. Okay. Because a lot of our immune system is produced from the byproducts that our gut critters make. And so if we can get our immune system just already in a good, healthy spot, that's going to help too with preventing illnesses or not getting quite as sick. Okay. So a daily probiotic, I have my patients usually do it right before bed, because that way when you're sleeping, your GI system slows down a little bit. And that way you get better colonization.
Okay.
So that's another thing that we do in my household is the probiotic, not necessarily every day because we've been doing it for a while, but at least every couple of days we
just to keep those critters healthy.
Yep, exactly.
Now there's a few other supplements that as we did our research, we actually found that they have some potential benefit. I'm going to list them off really quick for you. We've got bovine colostrum, N-acetylcysteine, and Panics ginseng. So these three substances or supplements, they're very helpful, possibly effective. They've actually had some clinical research trials to back them. The difference is you can't take them when you start to get sick. You have to take these through your entire flu season. So you start now in October and you continue to take these until March. And if you happen to get sick, the research showed less symptoms for about 1 to 3 days.
Yep.
So
this is a prevention.
It's more of a prevention. So if you're trying to do something on a daily basis, you could add these into your routine.
And we can write these down in the chat so you guys, because assistal what?
Right.
So we'll put these in there for you guys if you want to do some more research or consider taking those. We'll put them in the chat.
So we've named some of our favorite things, some of the things that we've found in our research. Now we've got some of you on there. If you guys have tips or questions, let us know what you guys do to help prevent yourself from getting sick. Or if you have questions for us, very specific, we can answer them as well.
Definitely. Well, we hope all of you make it through flu season without a hitch.
And we will see you guys at the end of this month. So next week, I say end of this month, but I think it might be next week that you get to see us again with another spooky presentation.
Bye, guys. Have a great day.